That was a weird game. But let's talk about the major thing that happened prior to the game, which is Steve Kerr agreeing to a contract extension with the Warriors as a coach, which makes a lot of sense, right? Since, the core, of course, Steph still has a contract through the 2025-2026 season, just like Kerr now has. And it feels like Steph, Clay, and Draymond are unlikely to play for another coach if we're keeping it a buck, right? And Steve Kerr has agreed on 35 million a $35 million extension through the 2 years, which makes him the highest paid coach in NBA history, which makes sense, man. Him and Eric Spoelstra are one of the best coaches in the league, and they're the top two now. And while I, of course, as many Warriors fans, have some issues with Steve, man, he's been an incredible coach. He does a lot of things just great. And as much as I get on him for some, decisions on younger players or on some rotational moments, his reasonings are always there. And at the end of the day, most of the time it has worked, right? And now we're finally embracing the youth with Kuminga, and he's playing smarter rotations, and we're on a pretty good roll. And I like our chances in the conference if we do not play Denver in the first round, even though I think Denver is an okay matchup for us in a nutshell. You still wouldn't want to play Denver in the first round. If we get there, we still don't have to get there when we look at the standings after the win tonight. We are still at the 10th spot, but we're creeping up on the Lakers. 3 games behind the Suns, the Kings, 3.5 games behind the Mavs, with a really good record now. 3 straight wins, and we have probably, I think, the fifth easiest schedule remaining based on strength of schedule. Of course, those numbers, you might disagree with it, but that's what the number says. And we should have a quote-unquote easier schedule, even though there is no such thing as easy really in the NBA nowadays, I guess, if you're not playing the Wizards or the Pistons. Even the Spurs or the Blazers, of course, but those can still be tough on any given night, as we know it. And so nice news to start us off. And then we played a game against the Charlotte Hornets, both teams on a back-to-back. And it was one of the ugliest games I have ever watched. I had the pleasure of waking up for this game at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. My body was so tired. I had a vaccination earlier, and it was just, my body was going through it. So I went to sleep early. I woke up at like 2 a.m., then at 3 a.m., and then at 4 a.m. again. And I was like, shit, I can't sleep anyway. So let me just put the game on and let's enjoy it live after a long time. It's been a while since I actually watched the live game. And that's what I did. And it was one of the ugliest games you could really see ever. Warriors shot 43% from the field. The Hornets shot 36% from the field. And it was just a musty game, man. The Charlotte Hornets were actually on a 4-game win streak heading into this. And yeah, have been playing actually a really good ball since they acquired Trey Mann and traded some of their traded PJ Washington, right? And that's what it was. We saw once again a pretty aggressive Andrew Wiggins, which is what you love to see. He was 5 of 8, 14, 2 and 3 on his birthday. So happy birthday to Andrew Wiggins, who appears to be truly, feels like all the way back. Knock, knock, knock. And that's awesome. We also saw way too many turnovers. The Hornets had 18, we had 21, and it was a turnover fest, which was due to sloppiness, due to the team actually being on a back-to-back, of course. So that is that. And yeah, what are the takeaways from this game, really, right? Potts and his charges continue to be just so awesome, right? And he continues to get better. 6 of 12, had that insane ankle breaker, 13, 6 and 6 on the night. Really good night from Potts. Steph, even though he didn't play his best game, still had 15 points, at least 3 threes. Draymond 5, 13 and 3 with plus 18. He was really good defensively. Kuminga, I thought, had a really great defensive game with 2 steals, 3 blocks. Had 2 rough turnovers, but all-around game, his offense wasn't there, but his all-around game was beautiful. I thought in the first quarter, he was playing such a great all-around game with his passing, rebounding, and defense. Even though, like I said, the shooting and the finishing wasn't there today, and I was I was really happy to see that. We also saw a little bit of a different rotation with Kuminga staying in longer to throughout the first and third quarter, where he played about 7 to 8 minutes to start the first and second half, aka the first and third quarter, which I think is much better for him and fits him more to play those 8 minutes than you can play him 8 minutes in the second quarter or 7 or 6, right? And I like to see that. We also saw Clay have a solid night, 13 points off the bench, 5 of 11. Didn't have an assist, had some turnovers, but I still liked all the little things Clay did overall, and I like the embrace. I just like the embrace that Clay has shown. GP2 was really good returning from that illness, 12 points, 5 of 8. Continues to be a menace and just one of the most efficient small, big man ever. And yeah, just an overall solid game. What else do I have? What else do I have actually pointed out here? Talked about Kuminga, Draymond had 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. He continues to shoot lights out from the 3-point line at about 44% from the 3-point line this season, which, yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And I talked about Kuminga. I also love Point Kuminga, man. He's been really in his playmaking bag overall. Besides one really bad turnover and one where he could have passed the ball to Steph, I thought his floor game was really good. And he had probably the best quarter all around from him this season in the first quarter, in my opinion. Steph was a little off to start, but he still, did some good things, but it didn't really matter, man. Defensively, we were just locked in. Looney played 10 minutes. He was okay today, actually. Trace played 15, 2 of 8. Moody played some good fourth quarter minutes. Guy Santos continues to have a good shot. Yeah, we held them to 29 points at stupid turnovers, and the game was just a little bit drunk, which ended in a most hilarious way as Lester Quinones went for a layup with the clock expiring, and Steve Kerr will pay for the fine apparently, and Draymond defending that guy from the Hornets as his guy, which is I'm pretty sure the Michigan connection or something like that. Makes me sad, but at the end of the day, yeah, the NBA is something else, and all sports players shouldn't be anything else. Probably then your sports players, you shouldn't look up to them otherwise. Even though I do that with Steph a little bit, but I know if I knew him, I probably wouldn't love him overall. Who knows, right? We can't tell really. But Draymond, with the guy from the Hornets that I won't say his name, is disappointing to say the least. But a great defensive game. We rested up pretty well for Denver, who comes to town on Sunday. Had some weird moments, took us straight back to 2004 or early 2000s era basketball with this game, and it was hilarious, man. It was hilarious. I really, my sleep, I felt like I woke up in 2004, really. So, yeah, the prehistoric times happened. We get a great win, continue this win streak. We'll see what happens in Denver as we play, like I said, on Sunday. I'm pretty sure it's an earlier game than usual for the Warriors. So will be intriguing. We always play Denver tough. I pointed it out before we played Denver last time. Every time we played Denver, we were actually on a pretty good streak, and then we lost to them in a somewhat bad or heartbreaking fashion. Of course, at Denver, it was not as heartbreaking, but it was a very winnable game. And then at home, where Jokic, of course, with the insane half-court 3 and the comeback from 19 points down. Yeah, Denver, when we have played Denver, we have lost and then played bad basketball afterwards. So hopefully it does not repeat itself. And if we could get a win here against Denver, it would be a huge statement, and it would prove that the improvements are there all around. Because that fourth quarter once again tonight was ugly, and we need to, if we were great in the fourth quarters overall, we would quite literally probably be a top 4 seed, or at least at number 5. Quite honest with you. right? But we are not, because we have blown so many games and we had some really bad fourth quarters. And yeah, it's disappointing. So, nonetheless, thank you all for listening to my rambling about the Warriors. I appreciate you all. We'll see if other sports content will be coming or not. I'm still unsure about myself, so we'll see. I'd appreciate if anyone finishes this video. Actually, let me know in the comment section, and gave me some encouragement. But I kind of doubt it. But still, as always, be kind to yourself and to others. Love yourself as much as possible, and I'll catch you all with the Denver game on Monday.